everyone, and welcome to the She Will Shine podcast. Today we have the lovely Rhiannon Colarossi here.
Hey.
And Rhiannon's from the Wellbeing Web.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here.
In this beautiful hub of yours.
This little backyard she shed.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So Rhiannon's going to share her story with us. It's quite interesting because both Rhiannon and I went to the same high school, but we didn't know each other at high school.
No. I knew your face. So when I saw you years later.
And we met again at a networking event, and that's where we kind of reconnected.
Yes.
Or connected for the first time, I should say, because we didn't really know each other before.
Yeah. I was half asleep at an event. Danielle's like, hi! I'm like, oh, wow.
Do I know you?
Yes. It's so great.
Yes.
Yeah.
But today I would love for you to share with us, Rhiannon, your story. So sort of coming from what you did from high school and what sort of formed your journey along the way and what brought you to be a business owner.
Okay. So where do I start? So I mean, at high school, I just went along, did the, studied. I wanted to be a teacher.
Did you know that quite early on?
Pretty early on. I thought maybe even PE, but then I didn't end up doing that. I ended up going general, which in the end was a blessing because I love it. I loved it. So university, I went straight into a job, and I suppose that's where it really began when I started teaching and I was in the classroom the first year. That's when I knew how powerful the classroom was and how much I wanted to help and support the children.
So primary school?
Primary school, yeah. So I was straight into primary school. And I think the thing that they don't teach you at university that really surprised me the most, and the message that I do share now in my business, is that a mum's wellbeing greatly impacts the happiness and learning of children in the classroom. And that really shocked me. I just didn't consider that before going into the classroom. I just thought, there was lesson plans and, learning experiences and the way teaching styles and all that sort of stuff. But that's something I hadn't considered. And so right from 2002, first year out in the classroom, I just wanted to share that. Like, mums, please slow down and be more present with your children, because I just knew the power of it. And at that time, mum's wellbeing wasn't really a focus. It wasn't talked about in the media, or now it's, many years on, it's definitely becoming more, I suppose, talked about and prioritised. And which is amazing. And maybe not as practiced as much. Hopefully we can take it to the next step. But that's part of the journey. And so that really started back then.
And I guess that was before social media too, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So it was totally, and internet.
So it's different.
Yeah, it was basically, the internet, I don't think was really, well, if it was, it wasn't prominent.
It was dial-up.
It wasn't like it is now. So I think the idea, not that I knew it back then, but was bubbling away already, that I wanted to share that message with, but there was no way I was going to do that because I had no business experience. I
was going to say, and what, you wouldn't have had any channels to kind of do that, because you're there as a teacher, you're there for the children.
Yeah, of course. So it was just something that I knew, and I share with people I knew and all that, and sort of talk to my teaching colleagues about it. And they'd be like, once you know the parents, you understand and you can help the children more. And I remember them saying that a lot. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's amazing and it's awesome. And, I learnt so much in that first year out. I think
what grade were you teaching?
At the first year out was year 1 and 2, grade 1, 2. And then I ended up, so I had my son 2008.
Yep.
And I just after that had the lung collapse. So I think...
So did you take leave for your son?
He came, I was meant to take leave at the end of the year. It was perfectly timed, meant to be a February baby. I was going to have January off.
Oh, perfect, yes.
But he decided to come 7 weeks early.
Of course he did, yeah.
So I went from teaching one day to baby the next, unprepared. Nothing was set up or ready. I wouldn't have it any other way, because I wouldn't be doing what I do now if that hadn't happened, because he came early, my lung was partially collapsed, he needed to get out, I had preeclampsia, and then 2 months later, I had to have it fixed, the whole repaired. I had a diaphragmatic hernia in there as well. So I had to have that repaired. That caused a total lung collapse.
Yes.
2 weeks in the hospital. I think there was 3 days in ICU.
With a young baby.
Newborn. So Dad had to take over everything. So he was also unprepared. Yeah. And in that time, that definitely changed my life. And I knew that I was going to do something different and share my message, because I finally had the courage and the confidence to say, I'm going to live my life wholeheartedly and fully.
So was that kind of when you were lying, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
when does that, because that's kind of, it's a big life-changing moment.
Yeah, it was.
And it wasn't just like lying there and it's all kind of happened, or
well, for about 2 hours, they were trying to pop my lung manually, draining the blood out, and I had this massive oxygen mask, so I was breathing through, gasping literally for air, and I couldn't speak at that stage, and I was thinking, oh goodness, what's going to happen.
You've got your thoughts,
That was it, right? Yeah. So I had to focus on breathing and hoping, praying that I was going to get out of there. Finally, they rushed me through to the operating bed, and I remember thinking, if I get out of here, I'm going to make a difference. And thankfully, I woke up breathing through a tube, and then I asked myself 3 questions. I was like, what have I been doing with my life? And have I been happy? And what will I do differently? And the answer was, oh no, I wasn't happy. I was sort of on autopilot. I wasn't living fully. I was living in fear. So I'm going and I'm going to I'm now got the chance to change my life.
You're still quite young.
Yeah, I was 28. I was 28. I'm 39 now.
Yeah.
So from then I knew that I would be doing something different. It still took me 4 years to launch.
Yeah.
And I still feel like I'm getting started.
You did have you were
2 children.
You had to recover.
Yeah, I had to. Yeah, I had to recover. Yeah, that's it. And I think that was the biggest thing. I had to then practice what I knew to be really beneficial for the children, to go slow, to not follow, keeping the perfect house. Don't worry about the status quo, what other people thought. I had to really live and practice.
Was that hard?
Yes.
Yeah, because, I love my mum, but she's like got the neatest house, cleanest house.
Yes.
And so I have that ingrained in me every time I leave something. I thought, oh gosh.
Yeah. It was, especially at hard, and with certain people, it might have been harder. Look, I became a bit of a parrot. If people come and look and sort of, give the what's been happening here today look, I would just say it's not my priority. I'm just focusing on playing with the kids.
That would have been a hard thing to do, though.
It was hard. Yeah. It was hard, but they knew, due to what I went through, that my perspective had changed, and that I was really trying to live congruently with what I believed to be important as a teacher and as a mum. I wanted to be present with them, and I knew that if I had tried to do both, I wouldn't have, and because I was recovering and not sleeping. They were both children, but even Jonathan at that time, he wasn't sleeping through, and I was up 4 or 5 times. I knew that something would give, and I didn't want it to be my mental well-being. I didn't want it to be my relationship. I just knew that the house, it would be okay.
That was the least important out of all those things.
So it was challenging, but friends that wanted to come over, they wouldn't be judging, and mum, she's like friends. The same. My mum loves the dishes, so I'm like, go for it, mum. But it was I just knew that, honestly. And then we renovated and moved a few years later. I was still not sleeping. We had a second child, and again it was the same thing. I just knew we're under financial strain. I knew that if I had tried to be superwoman, super mum, that we wouldn't have got through that. And I just knew that little by little, tiny wellbeing tweaks would make a difference to everything.
And so how was it, because you noticed in the classroom how the mum, I shouldn't say just the mum, the family's dynamics affected the children. So how was it then when you became a mum and you, because I guess before you have children, you don't know how hard it is to have children.
Absolutely.
So how was that for you?
So I didn't understand it, you're right. So I see the rushing of the mums in and out of the classroom. I'd see they're non-present, they're stressed, they're busy, they're tired, they're sick, exhausted. And I'd be looking at them going, whoa, what's going on? It was common. And often I'd notice the impact on the children. I'd have chats with the parents and the children, and I'd learn, and I'd be like, okay, it's, a lot going on here. And then, yes, I became a parent, and I totally got it. I totally got it properly for the first time. However, I knew the importance of slowing down. I just knew, even though it's not natural necessarily, you want to go 100%, full flat chat, full pace. I just knew the benefit of going, okay, what's important here, slowing down. I just knew. Do
you think having, your lung collapse, do you think if that hadn't have happened, would the journey, would you have come to the same realization?
Such a good question. I think I would have known, and I probably would have practiced it myself, but there's no way I would have done. Well, I wouldn't have a business now. I wouldn't have changed the course. I just would have gone through the motions and just sailed through on autopilot. Like I was petrified of public speaking and putting myself out there. I didn't want to be judged, and that was just not even anywhere on my radar. So definitely not that part.
Yeah, whereas now, just to kind of bring everyone... So Rhiannon now, she'll host events for people. She runs her own workshops. So that public speaking...
Yeah. I think because I'm sharing my message, that's why I have the confidence, because I know the power of mums slowing down and the impact it has on our well-being, but also the children's well-being. And it's just huge. And I think with anxiety on the rise with mums and children... and even it's busier now than when I first even identified it as something that we need to talk about. It's even more necessary and needed, yet I think we're going faster and doing it less. So even just the 3 breaths thing, it's so simple. There's simple things. And I think that's what also I wanted to share, is that I wasn't doing big, amazing wellbeing things every day. I was doing tiny little things to help me get out of bed, to help me just stay present, stay calm. Little tiny things like
little
the 3
practical
breaths.
Things.
Yeah, really. And so when mums would say I don't have time, or what's well-being, or that's for some people that have got lots of money or lots of time,
and that is looking after the children. I'll go do yoga
and a yoga retreat or something, or a class is great, but it's the little tiny things you do every day that make the biggest difference. And that's what I share at my events, and trying to just for them to experience that little things matter.
And so moving from this idea you had, kind of what was the first step for the business?
It's a good question.
Because I never set out to be a business owner. So when that kind of happened, it's kind of like, okay, what do I do next? Yes, I want to be a business owner.
Well, that's right. And it was honestly about the message. I wanted to share the message, and I think I wrote down, I had this big A3 sort of like notepad, and I was like, I'm going to share this, I'm going to write a blog, I'm going to include all these things on it, and so I had my vision, and I also wanted to do events. Again, it wasn't even, I don't know why I was like all of a sudden, but I didn't want to be the main speaker at that stage. I was still like, I want to host, but I'll have other people come and speak about the topics, etc. And then ultimately I do now speak at my events and that, but that initially I just wanted to share. And then I spoke to a person that was able to help me with the website, and I suppose it just progressed naturally. And I was just slowly building. That was, something that I just wanted to share a little bit of my message every day or in a little way. And I don't even think I really fully, even now I'm still like, I suppose I'm a business owner, but it's just, I don't really, owning it is probably in the last couple of years. I've definitely owned it more. But I'm just like a message sharer.
So you've gone through, you've had the idea, you're carrying it out in your own life. What are the first steps that you took at the time to kind of say, okay, I'm going to actually make a business out of it?
I think as many teachers like to do, they scribble all the notes down, and I had it all visually out on a big notepad. And then I thought, I can share this message. So I had a few blogs or things that I wanted to share. And I think I actually even started a Facebook page. So before I even went to a website designer and said, can I help me start a blog? I just started a Facebook page because I thought I wanted to share the message. So I think that's what it was about, and it still is. But just sharing the message, and that was an easy way to get started. So I always say just do something little every day towards your business, especially in those early days when you have young children. You've got an idea and you want to do so much, but sometimes just one little post or one, thought of a blog post, not jotting it down in your diary, that still all adds up, because you've got it to go back to one day when you're ready to write the blog or, look at it again. So so it just started with the Facebook page, and then the blog. I went to a website designer. It took a while for that to evolve. And then sharing my, blogs, I'm still not 100% regular with them.
I don't think there's anyone who is.
I try. But just trying to do things that, share the message in different ways, and letting mums know the value of it, but also how to. I think it's just, it is easier than we, think. even just the 3 breaths, that's one of the, my most popular tools.
So
that we
just
don't
take us
do
through
it.
that, just because some people may not know what that is.
Yeah, just stopping and just doing a mini reset through the day when you catch yourself rushing or feeling tense and uptight. Just stopping and going, okay, I'm going to take my breath down into my belly, and just, closing your eyes if you can, and do it with me, Dan.
Okay.
It's so simple, but we just don't always stop to do it. So
that takes a minute, literally.
And you have a mini reset. The cortisol level actually gets suppressed because it's a physiological reaction or response to the breath, and you've paused. So you've stopped, slowed down, and then you can set your intention for the rest of the day or next segment. And that is so simple, but then we can, if the children see us doing it, then we can teach them, and then it just adds to the harmony of the home. So
it's the ripple effect, as you say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And especially it's valuable in the morning. So the morning routine,
Yes, I know that routine well. Yeah.
Right. And most mums do know it because it's just so common.
Nightmare.
Yeah. And it can be so some mornings go great, they flow well, but others are like, oh my goodness, and then the mother guilt sets in because you've screamed or whatever. Yeah. But taking those 3 breaths can bring the household, tension down. Yeah. It can help you respond with kindness rather than react with that, tone of like, and, so you can actually practice it. You can practice slowing down, and even if it is crazy and you get to the car, you can take the breaths in the car. So sometimes we go, okay, that was a rush, but now we're here, we're going to stop for 30 seconds and we all breathe together. Yeah. So you can do those things, and the more you do it, the calmer most mornings will be. It's not always, but it's just training yourself to go slow, which is not our natural mode.
So you mentioned the groups that you have with the mums, and I've been privileged to come along to one of those things, or a few of your events actually. Yes. But one thing I've really noticed, and I think it's very aligned with what we do at She'll Shine, because it's you step into that space and you don't know anyone else. Yes. But it's such a warm, judgment-free zone, safe space.
100%.
And it's, you have women telling you things, you don't know these women from a bar of soap, and sharing their stories so openly and honestly. And absolutely. It's amazing that dynamic that you've created to allow these women to have that space.
Yeah, absolutely. And like what you do, it's bringing women together in a safe, comfortable space where you're not alone, and you feel comfortable to share your experiences on the motherhood or wellbeing or business journey. And it's just powerful. It's so powerful, and I think that to know you're not alone, and that's why I love your community, and I've been with it, been in it from the beginning.
For so long,
because I just love it, and I love that, getting along, knowing that we're not alone, and connection. I think that's why I love the in-person connection, and you do that really well too, Danielle, to bringing people together. It's great online world, love it, but the in-person connection, you just can't beat it. And I think in that safe space and just on the same page, it's truly powerful.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with the internet, can give you an excuse not to do the in-person.
Yeah.
But it also can make you so isolated. Yes. So it's like really juggling and sort of saying, well, actually I need to show up for something in person and put myself there.
And it makes a massive difference to how you feel, which is so important. So scheduling it in, going to those couple of things that you really want to go to.
That's exactly right.
It's really important.
So I've known you probably since the very start.
Yes.
Pretty much of the business. And our children are around the same age. We've both got boys and a boy and a girl, very similar ages. And I've always admired that you've been from the get-go, you've been really good at setting the boundaries on how much time you allow to work on the business around the children. Yes. Whereas I feel that I've been, it's taken me a while to kind of get to where I am now and have my boundaries in place. And very early on, I found it really frustrating because I'd want to be working on the business, but I couldn't because I was with the kids. Yeah. Or I'd want to be with the kids, but I couldn't. Yes. You know what I mean? So there's that conflict there. But I've really admired the way that you've been able to kind of set those boundaries early on.
Yeah, I think I appreciate that, Dan. Thank you. I think it's because I don't even know if I did it consciously, but I was always prioritizing my well-being. And when I did get to that frustration stage where I did want to do more, or that it was torn or whatever was happening with my own children and business, I just knew that I had to just right then, that was my sign to go, okay, I just need to stop. And so I'd be able to reset quickly. I think that was it. I just didn't want to be the stressed mum. I was lucky. I was so lucky to have that experience at 28 because I knew that my well-being and my calm, and I'm not that all the time, but that was the priority. I wanted to look after myself because I knew the ripple effect. And then I had to practice it. So sometimes it meant, and there was, I don't know if people would know this, but there was a couple of years, especially when Madeline was born, that I really did very little in my business.
So she wasn't sleeping.
So he didn't sleep for 3 years, and then she didn't sleep. And by that time we were renovating a house, and it was even, crazier.
Why not add more stress?
And it was just, and so those 2 years then, and I think, and that was at the start, to be honest, that was quite early on. I was just doing, a Facebook post every now and again, and it was just very little. It was very little. I would write down an idea, but I was not pressuring myself because I knew it was going to be a slow build, and it was okay because I was in it for the long run. It didn't have to be all now, and so I was able to talk to myself with kindness, which is something that I still need to practice, but we just,
it's very, very hard to do.
The kinder we are, and I just made that promise to myself, so to give myself a break, and I want other mums to do that too, because we just are so hard on ourselves.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yes.
So how many years now have you been in the business?
I'd say it's 6. I'd say officially.
Right. I'm just trying to work out what I mean.
I'd say, because I sort of get a little bit, it was a bit of a blur when I launched anyway.
Kids aren't sleeping, I don't know.
Because I think Madeline was about 1. She's now 7, so that makes sense. And my first official event was around that time. So but again, I feel like I'm just getting started, and it's 6 years down the track, which is crazy. Of course, I'm doing a bit more and all that, and I have a book coming out later this year, which I'm so excited about.
I'm so excited.
So I am but that's been bubbling away for 10 years. So again, I feel like in a way it's been I've been writing it for 10 years. Although it's probably only been a year and a half that I've been plugging away. Again, scheduling it in. And not. I just said I went away recently. I did like a couple of hours while I was away. I just had to let it go. I couldn't do it then.
Accepting that.
Yeah, exactly. And just, knowing that it'll be okay. And there's no point pushing as well, because I knew it wouldn't be, the result wouldn't be any good. So I just had to sit and then, enjoy being there and then come back and start again.
Did you ever picture yourself a business owner, a few things, business owner, presenter with your fear of public speaking, an author? Do you ever think any of those things?
No way. Not even, like, I don't even think when I started the business, even though I knew I wanted to share the message, that I was going to be hosting workshops and speaking, and definitely not writing a book. I mean, that's crazy. But no, not at all. I don't even, but I just knew my desire to share my message and the want to, the children, they're just so precious, and we have got a major emotional, spiritual, social role in their lives, and to be able to lead by example, and it's such a massive thing that we've got that gift to be able to share with them, and I just wanted to do it. So I think the desire to share that message and to help mums slow down and say, hey, it actually is possible. Yes, it's not necessarily the norm, not a natural necessarily instinct, but it can be done, and it's only little things every day. And if you do, it falls apart, you start again the next day. And that's what I did for many years. So I definitely know how to do it under pressure, and it does work, because I feel like in the worst of sleep deprivation, I'm not saying I didn't raise my voice, but I was able to, just be aware of it and know that I just needed to rest more or do less, or
I think just being aware of it is the biggest thing.
And
because sometimes you're in such a blur that you just, you know what I mean? Like it just goes a bit crazy.
Notice it. And then, I kept my relationships intact when I could have pushed people away, or taken it out on others. Even, I'm close with my sisters and my mum, and I didn't. And I think that awareness was to own it and to sit with it. That was so beneficial. And I know that, so I know that if I can do it, others can too. So.
Has it been interesting, because you've got 2 sisters?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Have they got children?
Yes, 2. So my sister has 2, and she's got 1 on the way. And my other sister got 1 on the way.
So you're the oldest?
Yes.
Do you see your message being carried through in your family?
Yeah.
Because I think, because you know what I mean? Because like,
Yeah.
yes, you can see it through friends.
Yes.
But family's different again.
Yeah, definitely my sister who has two
Yeah.
young ones. And because she's got the third on the way, she's even more like listening to me now. Like, well, how am I going to do this? And, so which is great. She's even started meditating, which I thought she would never necessarily be open to. But she's doing, the 1 minute. And I'm like, and she said it makes a difference to how she feels. I'm like, so she's experiencing, and that's how I started.
Yeah.
I started meditating 1 minute a day when the kids were young, because that's all I can manage, and built up over the last 10 years or whatever. And it does make a massive difference, but she's felt that.
Yeah.
And so that's exciting to see that. And I'm sure, maybe, or hopefully my younger sister, she will also, she does, listen along. I think hopefully she'll be able to apply it more easily when she's there.
Well, she's got those examples.
Yeah. But that's right.
So what's next? You're about to publish a book.
No.
You're going to have a launch. I have to go.
Yeah. Please do. Yeah.
You have to invite me.
I know. I can't wait. That's going to be fun. The party, Yes. I think hopefully all going well before Christmas. So that's my intention. Again, if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be easy with myself. But the intention is that it's going to be, soon. And then hopefully I can do more workshops. I've got my mum's self-care success series on at the moment, and that's been amazing because the girls in the group have just had their goals, and their success has been amazing. We've got the last workshop this weekend, and it's just been brilliant. So I think it just gives me confidence to do more and just to keep going and doing what I love. So I'm excited about the future. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rhiannon.
Thank you so much for having me.
I love talking to
you.
you.
I love talking to you. It's so good being here. Thank you so much, Danielle.
Well,
You're the best.
Thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for watching or listening today. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing Rhiannon's story to you. And I'm sure we're going to have a part 2 in the future after this book is released.
Woo-hoo. Oh, that'd be amazing.
And I'm sure we'll share that that journey with you as well. But thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll chat to you soon and see you soon. See you later.
Bye.